The Rams go to Philadelphia. It's a big game. We all three picked the Rams to cover, and boy, were we right there. Rams were down 1, kicking a field goal to win it. So either way, miss it, we cover. Make it, cool, they win, and they still cover, so we're right. And the field goal gets blocked and housed. So the Eagles end up winning by 7, 26-33. Eagles win. But it's kind of a tale of two halves in general. Rams go up big in the first half, and the Eagles come out actually passing the ball in the second half. JP has it here. In the first half, Jalen Hurts was 4 of 8 passing, and in the second half, he was 17 of 24 passing. So just a complete tale of two halves. Eagles score. Well, the Rams only score 7 in the second half. I think the Eagles scored like 24 or something like that. No, not 24. Yeah, something like that in the second half. But anyway, tale of two halves. Thoughts on this game, guys?
No further questions, Your Honor. That was my first thought. You just can't doubt the Eagles anymore. There's just no reason to. They have answered the one question you had after 2 weeks was, okay, but can they throw down the ball down the field when it mattered? And I don't have it up right here with me, but there were 5 third downs in the second half. Obvious passing downs. They were like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. On those 5 plays, Jalen Hurts was 5 for 5 completions. All of them, of course, past the sticks. Multiple of them 20 yards down the field. So even when they knew Jalen Hurts was passing, he was able to hit guys like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. It was a tale of two halves, as you said. Like Hurts had 8 attempts in the first half, 17 passing yards. In the second half, 24 attempts for 209 and 3 passing touchdowns. Obviously, he had the tush-push touchdown in the first half, but he was perfect in the second half, and you just can't doubt the Eagles anymore. There's zero reason to. They are capable of doing anything and everything. They just love to do it one way, and they will always try to do it that way. But you can't doubt them anymore.
Sure.
And that is my biggest takeaway. And I don't even want to get into my other takeaways yet, because that is just something you have to sit with that, because that's the truth. It's like you just cannot doubt this team in any way anymore.
Yeah, and the defensive showing they put up. I mean, the Rams constantly were driving down the field and they would fall short. The Rams drives, you had a field goal from the Eagles 33, a field goal from the 10, a field goal from the 15, so that's 2 red zone field goals, field goal from the 28. Then I believe at the start of the fourth quarter, sometime in the second half, they turned it over on downs on the Philadelphia 46. It was a 4th and 1. They don't get it. And then later on, you have a blocked field goal from the Philly 18, another red zone field goal that you're not able to get a touchdown. And then last play of the game, Philadelphia 26, a final blocked field goal. Jordan Davis returns for a touchdown. So it's really impressive that like the Eagles were able to make those stops constantly. I put in my notes, bend but don't break. It's a very cliche thing. Don't want to overuse it, but like that's really realistically how the defense played. Was they were gonna like the Rams were gonna drive. It was a great offensive game from the Rams if you don't look at like the last 3 plays of every drive, which was when they would stop and fall short. Otherwise, on the other, I mean, do we want to move to the other side? You have other takeaways from the Eagles offense, Rams defense?
I'll just touch on
Eagles defense, Rams offense.
The no further questions, Your Honor thing. I completely agree. It was something I was very skeptical of. I think basically in every Eagles preview we've done is like, I just can't like trust the passing game because I don't know. Like we hadn't seen it yet, but we saw it this game. I will say, and I'm gonna trust it from here on out. The Rams also have about the worst cornerbacks ever to cover A.J. Brown. As a Commanders fan, I watched Emmanuel Forbes try and cover A.J. Brown.
I have some notes on him if you want to hear them. It's
Go ahead.
Bad. He is 12th. So when I say 12th, I'm talking about like at the bottom because I don't want to be like he's 100 and something in the NFL. He is 12th among NFL cornerbacks with 3 missed tackles to 3 games. So that's 12th from the bottom. He's tied for 5th from the bottom in touchdowns allowed with 2, and then he's tied for 8th from the bottom in NFL pass rating allowed at 145.8. Those are all through 3 games. I believe he started all 3 games.
He has.
So, yeah, it's been a very tough look for Emmanuel Forbes out there getting a second chance with the Rams.
But yeah, I loved what I saw from the passing game. I think I like the maturity I saw as well in terms like we're not going to panic. And not even just we're not going to panic, but being willing to flip the script in the second half and actually go out there and pass the ball instead of being like, because that was one of my fears too of like, okay, frankly, I know A.J. Brown's a good wide receiver. I know Devontae Smith's a good wide receiver. Jalen Hurts has shown that he can throw the ball deep. Maybe not the most consistent guy, but he can. But I was almost like, are they too stubborn? Are they too stuck in their ways that they'd almost rather lose a game doing just the short stuff and running Saquon Barkley than opening it up? And that showed to not be the case. I think it showed maturity and a willing to set pride aside, which I appreciate to see as well. That's just what I wanted to say on that.
Yeah, and I mean the adaptation was necessary. The Rams D-line was fantastic. They hold Barkley to 18 carries for 46 yards, which is 2.6 yards per carry. His long was 12 yards, which if your longest carry, or if you hold Saquon Barkley to a long of 12, that's a big deal when you think about all the long touchdown rushes he had last year. They get to Hurts and sack him 4 times, which is more than the Eagles allowed in weeks 1 and 2 combined. And they kind of took advantage of Lane Johnson's injury. He exits, and then Matt Pryor and Fred Johnson both come in and see playing time, and they allow, on that side of the ball, 2 of the 4 sacks on Hurts. So the Rams' defensive line was awesome, but it's like you said, the secondary just kind of got diced up, which does speak to the Eagles' ability to adapt. Otherwise, on the Rams' offensive side of the ball, we heard a report. I think we talked about it on the preview that Kyron Williams and Blake Corum would split time. I don't know if 20 carries for Williams, 8 for Corum. I wouldn't necessarily call that splitting.
I would.
You would? I mean, it's 66,
It's on the line.
33.
It's on the line.
Yeah, it's close. But it's like 65% to 33%.
The direct quote from Sean McVay last week, we're going to go to 65-35 with Kyron and Corum.
Well, then that's exactly what it was. When I heard split, I was thinking more like a 50-50.
It was never going to be a true split. I liked what I saw from both of them, though.
Yeah, they both played well. Let's see. Any other notes? The Rams in their last 12 games, excluding Week 18 where they benched their starters, are 0-3 versus the Eagles. So they lost in Week 12 of 2024 at the divisional round, and now Week 3 of 2025. And then 9-0 versus everybody else. And that includes a win over the Vikings with Sam Darnold in the playoffs, and then also a Week 14 upset against the Buffalo Bills. So it's kind of their kryptonite, playing the Eagles.
Which is crazy because I think they've played some of the best games against the Eagles.
Yeah.
Even like in their playoff matchup, it was right down to the wire. They just needed the one stop or whatever. But they haven't got the job done. But even still, like, if I'm the Eagles, this isn't necessarily one of the teams I would prefer to see in the playoffs again at all because of the running backs. And Matt Stafford continues to deal, and Puka and Devontae Adams is just such a good duo. I think Puka's kind of even taken another step up this year, and he's just being so productive. He's getting open. They're utilizing him in different ways now. It's just like I would not want to see this team at all.
I think the Rams and the Bucks both belong in that same tier of that's not a team you want to face. They could absolutely go out and beat the Bills or the Eagles, or I'm gonna say the Chiefs are still in that upper tier just because they have Patrick Mahomes. They can go out and beat any of those teams any given Sunday. There are definitely a lot of teams you would rather face than them. So I'd say they're probably they're like at the top of that second tier just because of the high end play you can see from them. They're a great roster, great team.
Sure.
I thought Stafford was excellent. Besides the pick on the first drive, besides that, he was perfect. I thought for most of the game, not really missing a ton of opportunities. They missed the 4th down in the second half, but really other than that, he did what all you could do. He led the team down the field twice, and they had field goals blocked both times. So on the Rams side, I think the takeaway for me was, it happens.
Yeah.
That's just a tough loss.
On the road too.
You have to think how the Falcons probably felt after the Buccaneers lost. Penix did his job, got them all the way down the field. You missed the field goal. That's why football is such a great game. It's a team game. Everyone's involved. It's not just the quarterbacks. But I thought Stafford was great. Puka was great. And I do think they feel confident about playing the Eagles and potentially getting to play the Eagles again. But I don't think they would beat the Eagles. I think the Eagles own them. I think that is how it just is. the Eagles are better than the Rams when they are the two teams on the football field, and they've shown that.
Well, who are the Eagles not really better
Bad
than
to
right
say.
now?
I think it's different because I think the Buccaneers feel great about playing the Eagles, and they should. They probably will this weekend. They beat them both of the last two times that they've played. Now, both of those were in Tampa Bay. It'll be in Tampa Bay again on Sunday. But you think of the playoff game 2 years ago, the Bucs were not scared of an Eagles team, dominated them. And the same goes for when they played them 2 years ago in the regular season. The Bucs don't fear the Eagles. There's no leg up there. And I don't think the Rams fear them, but you haven't beat them yet. And until you do that, I think I just would continue to side with Philly. I am going to make the case later, though, that I think the Bucs is a team that you would never bet against, just because with the way Baker plays and that team plays, especially in the big moments. But I think the Eagles just own the Rams, and that's just how that goes. Just like the Chiefs own the Bills, that's just how that goes. The Bills don't fear Kansas City, but they haven't beat them. If you think draw it to college football, Tennessee and Georgia. Tennessee doesn't fear Georgia. They clearly didn't that Saturday, but they haven't beat them yet. And until that happens, you just have to continue to side with Georgia. And I think it's the same here with Philly. Philly is just better than the Rams every time they play on the field, and it doesn't really matter how it goes. And the Eagles have now done it in a multitude of ways. In the playoff game last year, it was running the football. Saquon ran for 200. Jalen ran for 70. And then this past Sunday, it was in a comeback fashion, throwing the football.
Yeah.
The Eagles just own the Rams right now. I think that's the takeaway.
Sure.
Going forward, Eagles have to throw the ball more. You just have to make that something you do more, because you're hurting Saquon straight up, and that's your best weapon when you're not throwing the ball. Through the first two games, actually the first 2.5 games, through the first half as well of the Rams game, Jalen Hurts had attempted 7 passes past the sticks, 10 yards or more down the field. In the second half, he attempted 8. You have to get that incorporated more. You have to take these downfield shots. If you're going to have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, involve them, and that will lessen the amount of guys in the box. It makes the safeties play deeper. And now Saquon in those long runs, which was the best weapon of the Eagles team last year, becomes a natural weapon again. So for Saquon's sake, I think they need to start throwing the ball more.
Sure.
You've just proven to your... I think they knew they could do it. But for whatever damn reason, they're just too stubborn, and they haven't been doing it until they needed to do it. Do it more. I don't understand the tendency of continuing to run the ball, even if it is the way they've just won so many games. And incorporate the pass more and allow Saquon to cook. Because right now he's not producing because he's playing against 8 guys in the box, and he's being hit in the backfield, and he's having to break 2-3 tackles every single time. So going forward, I would love to see that more from Philly. On their defensive side, though, I don't know if they've answered their defensive questions. The Chiefs didn't necessarily got what they wanted, but I think we've got a really bad Chiefs offense straight up, and that's something we can talk about later. But the Rams kind of got what they wanted. They just didn't convert. As Sanders was saying, 2 red zone field goals. They attempted another one that was blocked. That's just not something. If one of those field goals is a touchdown, the Rams win this game. So they need to answer still defensively, although the defense kind of won them the game in the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another slight twist on the game, the tush push, where Jalen Hurts kind of fumbles the ball. Not actually, but that'll be something I'll be interested to watch for going forward. Because the way the tush push works is it's multiple surges of it's the initial surge and then the running back hits the pile and stuff like that. So the forward progress continues for a while, and he's trying to extend that ball. I feel like it was kind of a frustrating, the offense gets it both ways because he's still going forward, but the refs are like, oh, no, he's got the first down. We're going to call forward progress. He's still moving forward. Arguably could have been a fumble because he's on top of bodies. I'll be interested to see if more defensive linemen are trying to rip the ball out of his hands, keep him, maybe there's like an argument to like you'd like try and pull him forward by the ball and rip it out. That'll be something to watch. But I thought that was an interesting call by the refs. I didn't really see the replay to know if he was truly like stopped. I thought he was still moving.
I thought it was a flex, and at the same time, insanely risky to do what Jalen did, but to have the confidence to reach the ball out there, because it's not like it's when it's on the goal line where
Right.
if you just cross the plane, it's a touchdown. The ball's still live for a while, and he just reaches it out there with two paws, and the Rams just couldn't take it from him until the whistle was blown, and he eventually gave it up. So I thought that was a kind of a flex. I don't hope to continue to see that. But tush push wise, they false started twice and they didn't call it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I will say the
Didn't your
one
Saints try and get called for a false start?
we've been called for a false start
Yeah.
twice running the tush push this
there
year.
was one I saw that in slow motion looked like a false start, but in real time, I genuinely don't think it looked like a false start.
Sure.
I think that is
There
just
was one that was egregious.
right.
though.
I didn't. There definitely was one, but there was one I saw that people were like this is a false start, but it was like slowed down to like 2 frames a second, and I'm
Hey,
like,
by
that-
the letter of the law, it's a false
yes, that is fair, but
start. It angers me
yeah,
because
Same.
if you're going to come out and say that we're going to officiate it differently and you just don't call the one that's egregious, but in Seattle, refs can call it perfectly for the Saints. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? If this happens again for another week, it's
JP's gonna take to the street.
it's genuinely angry. It happened in the Cardinals game for the Saints week 1. We ran the tush push and they called a damn false start, and it happened again in Seattle. It's just, how can the officials in the Eagles game not understand that and make that call correctly? That going forward is it needs to actually happen. If
Yeah.
you're going to say it's going to
Fair.
happen, it better happen.
I completely agree.
Another tush push thing. The Buccaneers signed
yep,
the fat Florida defensive tackle,
Desmond Watson.
Watson.
Yeah.
D. Watson. I forgot what his first name is. It might be Desmond. He's on the practice squad. He's not on the official roster yet. But the fact that they haven't put Mike Evans on IR, it would have opened up the spot for him, which is another thing that confuses me there. But I expect them to actually sign him to the team and on the roster and use him for the tush push. And that'll be cinema.
yeah. They've already got Vita Vea in there, who's been
Vita Vea
is
and
phenomenal.
Watson,
And
like-
no, I agree.
Who's pushing
I think-
through that?
How are you moving that?
I wonder if the Eagles' counter to that would be to not sub pre tush push, and so you don't get an opportunity to bring
Sure.
Watson in. But that will be even if they don't,
Or
then
go,
it'll be
or go no huddle if they were to pick up a first down.
right. It'll be exactly, and then you keep him on the field. It will be cinema to see how the mind games if Watson ends up on the game day roster.
I think it would be like Bucks would use it in a goal line situation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Goal
So,
line or like game almost over. Like
Yes.
we have to get this stopped
yeah, so that'll be definitely interesting to watch.
for sure.
Any other?
No.
I also think maybe because the Eagles have shown it before, but they haven't shown it this season. They'll eventually pull out the counter of Hurts goes for it, but he pitches it to Saquon, or they run a pop pass over the top.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that yet, and I think we'll see that eventually, and that could happen this weekend as well.
Yeah.
With Tershawn Wharton. Not Tershawn Wharton. That's the former Chiefs defensive tackle who's been cut. Desmond Watson.
Yeah.